I walk your streets at night, and not because I've lost or found a way, a path into the concrete neural network of your city. Not because I have a place to go, not because I have a place to go, or because I am flustered. Caught in flirty circles of GPS giddiness, I walk the streets until they weave themselves into my hair. Wavy, thick, gray, glistening with dew and bulbs, with split ends tangled and running down my back. I walk a street until it knows me. Streets have no tongues and don't talk, but they exhale and witness and taste. And my steps tap a Morse code into the boulevards and lanes and zebras, and heavy gray snakes hissing and humming and swallowing and flooding light. Tattooing my feet and my breath onto the pavement, the husk and bark of the place, the roads, the paths and the shortcuts through the parks. I walk myself onto a new country, a new city, the skin of it, the asphalt and the eyeballs and the walls and the words and the tempo and traffic direction, the shell that holds the mass together and the veins that direct the flux of people and thoughts. I walk because I am foreign. A foreign body in an organism and an ecosystem that can reject me at any minute. An alternating current source meeting a direct current signal, and the equipment can malfunction at any second, and the lights will go out. I walk because it takes time for the photons and electrons and nerve endings and dust particles and acoustics and leukocytes and pollen and stairs to adjust and get used to my alien resonance and cell structure. I walk because when I enter your habitat, when I plug into your system, you vibrate in a different frequency, and the fabric of your universe can discard and expel me because I am not made of the right particles. I am not your kind of matter. I am not matter. I do not matter. I am anti-matter, and the energy created by our conquerors can destroy all. Footnote. It can also create understanding, gamma rays, an entire new universe, but that is up to chance, and nobody wants to make a black hole from a good faith experiment. I walk because I want your streets to know me, but your cosmos generates a membrane to protect itself from the violent reaction of our interaction, a barrier between the soles of my feet and your street, a layer of vacuum between my soul and yours, a negative space of uncrossable stretching distance that absorbs words, a clean film that I scream into, an ozone layer that protects your atmosphere from my alien stench I cannot pass through. And I am invisible from your side of the membrane, I think. I cannot know if and when you see and hear. I walk your street because I keep looking for a rupture in the barrier, a corridor of air, an open door and open eyes, open for me to walk through, to walk in, and to belong.
This is Sick Minds with Sad Hearts, which should give a trigger warning by itself. Sick minds with sad hearts think sick thoughts, spread hate, warp souls in dead flesh, no love, faith, hope there. Who kills, destroys, creates a wound that must be healed. To hurt, abuse, deny requires redemption. Do not take that life, soldier. Do not shoot that beast, hunter. Make your peace with creation. Truly, all life is sacred. Look, my friend, to those great teachers. Open up yourself to their light. Make their truth your own. Be as good. Know the wisdom of the ages. You politicians, without this earth, economies can no more exist. Wake up now, the planet is bleeding. Continue to sleep at your peril. And millions cry for food, water, shelter. Homelands destroyed, they seek shelter elsewhere, on the waves, over land, fighting their fate. No star to guide them, victimized, outraged. You say there are no answers, that the problems are too great. Well, if so, we are all damned to what hell we may create. Thank you.
Time of the month. Announced like it should be a good time, not misery. But I'm battling the crippling waves of pain for control over my body, my womanly silver lining which rejects when I don't plant a seed of life within me. These days are a red haze, spotted with stabbing pains and a fogged up brain, this curled up flower of mine screaming agony as the constrictions ripple again. It's a painful reminder of how I could produce a child I don't want alive. The rich blood flow that heralds the potential for life instead has me feeling like death. With every breath, the pain climbs higher up my spine. I can only imagine what it is like to birth a human out of my womb in the stead of worsening gloom. Only the sweeping relief of an opioid daze gets me through the next few days. I know that my doctor prescribing either strengthening painkillers isn't going to fix whatever malady this is, but it's difficult to get medical professionals to listen. They give disingenuous diagnoses of dysmenorrhea, like I deserve to feel this, like I should grin and bear this part of being woman, like my fear is useless. But I know to be reduced to lying on the floor writhing like a beast isn't wellness. I know something is wrong here, but my pleas fall on medically deaf ears. The average diagnosis of endometriosis takes approximately 8 years. I'm frustrated that my female doctor fails to take action on my fears. I'm concerned there's irregularity that ought to be investigated, but I hear, what do you want more naproxen? And are you keen to go back on the pill yet? Aside from the diatribe I bite back about how contraception makes me suicidal, I fume about the lack of referrals that could prove vital to my continued survival. Even if it's not endo, it could be something else. One never really knows at all. The whole point of going to a doctor is that you want someone knowledgeable to look into all the aches and ails that make daily life unbearable. Like clockwork, every segment of my month is a predictable path of states from premenstrual depressive episodes to post-period hypomanic phases. My hormones have such a control over my well-being and mental health that I end up having to diagnose what's going on with me myself. And that feels wrong. And a portion of my wealth goes to funding my doctor's pay. And instead of finding answers, I'll find prescriptions in an exit doorway. There's so much more for me to say, but a 15-minute appointment is the way. I'm sent out confused at the unwillingness to refer to a specialist. Say, a gynecologist might be able to assist, but the waiting lists for public health tests are longer than the days fill when I'm managing my crippling symptoms. Yes, I need help, but I feel helpless. So the red haze will rule my life for a week this month, and the next, and the next, and the next. Thank you. Entitlement sits rich in the frothy milk of a sent-back full-fat cappuccino. Rejected in capital letters, backed by the capital of outstanding endeavors. And when I say outstanding, I mean outstanding on all the little peoples. Privilege perches primly in her seat, proximate to the cafe cleaner, a soul that couldn't get any leaner without the benefit of full-fat creamer. Without the wasted product tipped down the barista's drain, and it's a pain the scales are so rigged to look after those in charge of the game. Well, nobody else can win. Lack of awareness stares reflected in the eyes of a 16-year-old minimum wager there, endearing another diatribe from an entitled matron of the everlasting high who once trimmed coffee to negate her waist, laden and bulging with expensive taste. The coffee went begging. But she wouldn't know a thing about that, or regretting she's never gone hungry a single day. Skin with consistency like milk and clear as the upper crust bliss she lives in. Cognitive dissonance inhibits the understanding of the coffee's existence. This upstanding human considers not how the coffee might have got there, what poor broken backs may have delivered a wealthier nation's caffeine fare, only for drinkers to snare when they're mistakenly exposed to blue top dairy. It's about so much more than just coffee. It's the principle of sending back something when something is lacking perfection, when the most that men can afford is to test out their basic survival instincts, and the time it took for the coffee to return 1,000,000 miles away in 1,000,000 different slums, despair will wail over a tougher outcome. The amount of waste that exists in the first world is a big middle finger to the starving. Would there really be any problem with drinking a full-fat coffee just this once? Privilege finds it easy to say yes because she can afford to worry about these things. She can afford to eat and drink 3 times a day with all the trimmings. So she'll wait for coffee reprised with a sense of indignance and sip at its now trim slimness with the grossest air of smugness.
Okay, so this is just called bogeys, right? I get distracted by bogeys. Picking my nose is a part of my process of thinking, of procrastination as I await those great ideas. Sitting here wiping something sticky and unrelated onto a leg or a tree. We are all guilty of secretly depositing snot somewhere like under a table, chair or bar, are far from innocent as we flick fluorescent, globular, circularly rolled between finger and thumb nose gum somewhere it shouldn't be living, giving the walls a clean and discovering that that was not blue tack. We've all attacked a nostril to be met with a horrifyingly long strand of glandular gunk. No time to think, slip it under your drink, hidden until that next sip. I get distracted by a noticeable bogey. So we're catching up, right? But up that person's nose is a little particle that blows in and out with every word said. I have not heard or processed anything. I can only bring my attention as to whether or not that snot's going to fly off and land on me, on my lip. So I do heaps of this, you know, hoping they'll copy and clear stuff away. And then there's ones that just stay on the face, you know, in a place like the tip of the nose, hanging off the piercing, the chin, or in the beard. Oh, I'll be weird with my eye contact now, unsure how to carry on conversation. Or station of serviettes. Yes, here, look, you've got a little, yeah, carry on, it's gone. Or like when you're the only one at the bus stop, right, and the coast is clear in all directions, sweet, pick, 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 pick. Yes, success. No, here comes the bus. Oh, fuck, it's now stuck on my snapper, smeared onto the scanner. We've all been in a scene where there's been no Kleenex, no hanky, no tissue, no handy towel, wet wipe or toilet paper. Have made the mistake of going for a cheeky dig when someone leaves the room, then comes back in way too soon. So I guess this is going between the couch cushions. But it goes without saying, never wipe on a library book. Oh, look, 2 pages suspiciously stuck together. The magic of literature lost as an old golden crusty nugget grips onto, sometimes rips, fine print. I'm done with reading for today.
So just leap right in?
Yep.
I have been vampire, ridden the Messiah, standing under full moon, dancing to a fool's tune. No such thing as false hope, living on the tightrope. Not another sad trope, looking for the rhyme. Cracking very slowly, mask that hides the lonely, pictures that you don't see, skin of wooden flesh, mirror in the music, chaos in my heart's tick. This is not romantic, even when it rains. Dressing like I've no home, where I live is on loan. Stars are little love stones, dancing in the sky. Theories of a madman, grasp them tight with both hands. We know fame with no fans, and travel standing still.
This one's called Fish Out of Water. I enter the cold, murky water, shivering. First my feet, then ankles, knees, waist, zap. Cold, slimy tentacles wrap around me like those of a jellyfish. But it feels different. It's tangled? I look down at my feet and see plastic bags and fishing line tangled up around me and more filth drifting through the current. Suddenly, I feel a stabbing pain in my left lower leg. I start to panic. Oh no, I've been bitten by a shark. I swim frantically to shore to get a better look at my sharp eye. Oh no, I can't look. There's a tooth in my bite. Hang on. Shark teeth don't shine. I look more closely at my gash and see not a shark tooth, but a triangular-shaped piece of glass. I think of the sea creatures swimming in this man-made filth, and I wonder, is this what it feels like to be a fish out of water?
As I walk out my door, the first thing I see is nature. Nature is many different things like flowers, trees, leaves, plants, and animals and insects too. We need to respect nature because it's living just like us.
This is called By Way of Introduction. Before the hunger crept in close, I didn't think of ribs as prizes. Missed periods were subtle surprises, and baggy clothes were for comfort, not disguises. Before the pain clasped my throat, I didn't think of my body as a grave. Destiny was a path which choices paved, and flesh was a temple to never desecrate. Before the world pushed me away, I didn't think of death as survival. Hearts were not fated for revival, and punishment was deserved, not reprisal. Before self-hate invaded my head, I didn't think of thighs as failure. Limbs did not crave the tickling razor, and weight was a minor character, not narrator. Before the light fled my life, I didn't think I was destroying myself. Sitting alone was the most pain I felt, and this story was not mine, but belonged to someone else. Nobody ever told me that sharp objects like to sing. They neglected to mention the sensation of aversion comes mingled with addiction, even at that first bittersweet bite of stainless steel teeth. People must have been grossly unaware of how gently scarlet roses caress, how blooming blood absolves all mess once blades first kiss broken flesh. I was carving stories at best, now I weave them. Instead, nobody else had experience sculpting with skin, swiftly sawn away to reveal more intimate anatomy, all the more delicate for its unforetold asymmetry. I swear nothing will ever compare to the feeling of laying your own soul bare with and in your own hands once again. Far too often I wonder what it would feel like to hurt deeper, to tenderly hold tendons in hot, heart-studded hands in some sick attempt to appease anxious gods. If I sacrifice my suffering, maybe someone will finally save me from myself. Nobody ever knew what exactly would come after the 6 degrees of separation from sharp objects. People seemed to forget that the time would now be spent instead chasing that feeling in bottles and in bed, finding it nowhere except the bloodied bandages we wear. Nobody told me that if I stopped, when the penny finally dropped, when I finally learned to let myself live and love again, nobody ever could quite tell me if I'd feel less broken then.